Welcome back, everybody, to another exciting episode of Aaron's Opinion, the podcast for blind people where we speak about critical issues in the blindness community and all other issues from across the universe and galaxy. Today, we're going over the pond for this one to talk to Tyler Noremberg, who joins us now. As I understand it, you are a YouTuber. You do a lot of content over there for the blindness community. You have a great following over there. So why don't you take the next hour and tell us and help me to answer the question, who is Tyler? Who is Tyler
Noremberg,
Noremberg?
yeah,
Go ahead.
yeah. My name is, as Aaron said, Kyle Tyler Noremberg. I'm 37 years old from Manchester, United Kingdom. I also take on the name Blind Havok, which is Havok spelt with a K, which, it took me a long time really to use a name like that because I was in denial because of my sight loss. So let's go back to 2004, which is when I became diagnosed with Leber's hereditary optic neuropathy, or LHON for short. I was in denial, and as many of you know, when you start to lose your sight, it becomes like a grief. I did become depressed, housebound. I didn't really go out with anywhere. Lost my friends, out of touch socially. Any words to do with eyes or blind, there could be an advertisement talking about blinds for your windows or something, that'll still really get to me. And it was in early, I'd say 2010, 2011, I took on the name Blind Havok because I slowly started to accept my sight loss, and it was like a rebirth. I was slowly getting there. And 2014 is when I actually had my first cane, which is a symbol cane or identification cane. The first few weeks having this cane, I would have it folded up and up my sleeve, which is, it's not really making use out of it when it's supposed to show people that I have sight loss. And then one day, I just extended the cane and kind of embraced it. I stepped out the door and felt like a huge relief off my chest and off my mind, and I became Blind Havok. A year after embracing this cane, I went back into college and I progressed into university studying professional music production, where I did graduate with a foundation degree in 2018. And with that, I did have to go through the award ceremony, and I'm not good with large crowds, my anxiety, but I did end up stepping onto that stage, and it was a proud moment, to step on that stage and receive that award. So there's a proud moment there. The same year as graduating, I've become more involved with the blind community, not just for people with the same eye condition as me. I started to browse around Facebook, and I just discovered many more people with various eye conditions. A lot of people posting, the members posting, saying like what games are available, what apps, anything to make their life more easier to live with, any assistive technology. And I took my time after college researching and gathering lists of apps, games, any useful resources, and they'd find it helpful, but they couldn't share within the group. So the only way to share really is if you've got a Facebook page. So I did create the Blind Awareness Facebook page. That was July 8th, 2018. And ever since, there's been times where I work whole days on it. I've skipped meals. Um, I'd stay up all night just posting content that'll be useful. I'd gather every list of eye conditions, common and rare, and I just put as much out there as awareness to help the blind community. Not just that, but to also educate people that aren't affected by sight loss, they're sighted, and just anything to raise awareness really. So I spent what 5 years now, from six years. Um, I'm other than the advocating for the blind, I'm also an author, which I published my first book last year, September the 4th, on my son's birthday, Noah. And the book, Between Me, You on the Console, Pixels of Perseverance, it's about growing up at a young age playing video games, spending quality time with family, especially at my Uncle Eddie's house, playing on the Atari, growing up playing on PlayStation, Nintendo, Sega. And then when it comes to the point of losing my sight, I did still continue to play video games, but it was really stressful. And I thought I did want to become a video game developer, and that felt like my dream was shattered, my world flipped upside down, and I'd sit close to the TV, and these were the TVs with a glass screen, so the heat from that, it wasn't good. It wasn't good to get too close to that a large amount of time in the day. So growing up, years moved on, and video games just become more accessible. Consoles, accessibility features, narrator, screen readers, magnification, contrast, captions, so much more. And I am excited for the future. So that book's published if you want to have a look at that. This year I released my album, 5 tracks, and these are songs that they're just instrumentals, but these songs, I did write these songs when I was going through a difficult time. It was in the same year as I graduated and the birth of blind awareness, but I was going through a difficult time. I'm not going to lie, I did have suicidal thoughts, and I was having my son at focus, like focusing, I had I live away from my son in Manchester, and my son lived in the West Midlands with his mum. I won't go too much into it, but I am fighting for contact and being like alienated, so my son doesn't really know much about me being pushed out of life. Can't go too much into that, but I've always had my son like focus. Fly Talk published me book on the same day as his birthday. But yeah, but I've had the dark thoughts, and I have been dependent on alcohol as well, especially the time I was volunteering at the Manchester Cathedral, taking part in beekeeping and welcoming visitors from around the world into the beautiful cathedral. Early hours in the morning, have a little drink to sort my anxiety out, because, struggle in large crowds as I head into town. And there was a point where I was just like, I felt shameful. So I just stopped drinking, and I just got on with it. Then I stopped the voluntary work, and yeah, the songs, what I worked on, I had my friend Lee, and he helped master the songs. We worked together to get these songs to what they should be. My friend Lee passed away a couple of years ago, so things haven't been the same then. I can't show him, look, I finally released the album after all these years. And I'm currently working on a few more books now. I can't say anything right now, but they are going good. I will be contacting local broadcasting stations, TV, to see if they're interested in getting this into a TV program or something. I think it'll go good. Yeah, what else is talk about? Yeah, I'd say I am a creative person. Some of you know you've seen my poems before. I like to write poems. I like to express myself either with music or write it down, and I like to get my mind going. So, and anything creative, productive stuff. I like to be out. I like to travel and take in from what I can see. Appreciate the site that I've got left, and I hope my site maintains. It hasn't worsened since I was diagnosed. So I just hope it's like this while I spend quality time with my family, what I've got now, and make the most of life. And I'm grateful for what I've got. And the main thing, what's pushed me forward and kind of put me on high spirits is the blind community. And there are groups and some members will they still have the opinion. They might disagree with what you post and that, but that's what makes us unique. We're all different, and they've been so supportive. Not just the ones members with the same eye condition as me, but I've learned so much more about many other eye conditions and people, like the personalities themselves. And I've met a lot of great friends because there are a lot of great people. And it's a great thing about social media is like I'm having this interview now with Aaron, and thank you for letting me join your show to speak out. And yeah, I was going to say is that it is a great community out there. So be as active as you can on social media, if it's Facebook, Instagram, X, or Breed, Threads, anything. So, what more can I say really? Yeah, stay tuned on Blind Awareness. There is the Blind Awareness website as well on Instagram, YouTube, which I'm still posting songs about eye conditions. So there's an AI tool called Suno AI, and I use ChatGPT to give me a description about a certain eye condition, and then it'll write a description. Then I say write lyrics for this condition. Then I use the lyrics put in Suno AI, and then we've got a nice song there with certain genre style music, and post that regular on the YouTube channel. And there's many other useful hints and tips on there. So if you want to keep in the know of what's like coming out, any new apps, games, assistive technology, then stay tuned on the Blind Awareness YouTube channel or the Blind Awareness Facebook page. Also, feel free to join the Blind Awareness Facebook group where you can post any informative resources that will help raise awareness. Feel free to post in that group also. Anyone's welcome really. But stay to the rules. So, yeah, is there anything you'd like to ask, Aaron?
Absolutely. I just want to say that was a fabulous, fabulous introduction, if I say so myself. I've heard many intros that guests have given me when they've responded to the initial question. I could not have asked for a better answer. That was absolute perfection. I think what really stood out to me is when you said that the most supportive community you found are other successful blind people. When in fact, in the past, the community where you perhaps would have had the most fear, the most anxiety, and the most apprehension was in fact the blind. And I think that really says a lot about you. I think that says a lot, and I think that your story is very, very, very relatable in that sense. I
Yeah.
think that you are not, you are, you are not you are not alone in that. And it just really spoke to me. So I understand that you're from Manchester. As a
Yeah.
matter of fact, I lived in Norwich for 3 months, and I got to say that England is a wonderful, wonderful country. So yeah, what can you tell me before we really dig into some of the other things that you've said? What can you tell me about just simply the community of Manchester? I've never been to the historic city of Manchester, but it's one of the oldest cities in the world. So what can you tell me about that great city of
Yeah.
Manchester?
Well, well, I think like growing up, with my parents and my five brothers, we lived in a place called, or lived in many places, but one most memorable is Walkden, and that's where we was a tight family. The neighbours was great, and that, and then we relocated to like Harper Hay. We have lived in a lot of places. Harper Hay was the last place that my mum lived. She passed away when I was um 14. So at the time of losing my sight, and then it was 2 years after that's when I started to lose my sight. My mum was also blind. Um,
Hmm.
then we moved to like a place called Moston, which yeah, it's the worst place I've ever lived. There was a lot of crime. Uh, there was a moment where my dad had a gun put to his head in
Oh
our own,
gosh.
and my dad was like scared in his own home, which he shouldn't have to have that. So we needed to get out of that place, which the police ended up raiding our house because there was words that this gun was hidden in the house, and we did get evicted and we became homeless.
Oh
So we
my gosh.
lived in a bed and breakfast, which is like a little hostel. Then we was relocated to another bed and breakfast in a place called Charlton. And then we lived in a hostel for a year, me, my dad and my brothers. And that was the most memorable year in 2006. We did, then after that, we moved to a couple more places. We have lived in a lot of places around Manchester, but then my dad passed away in 2009 when we was living in West Gorton. And then 3 months after my dad passed away, my eldest brother passed away. Um, he was also blind. So my parents and my brother, they all died from alcohol.
Oh,
That was a big thing in the family growing up. So what I could say about the places I've lived in Manchester, where I live now, I do love it, and where my son lives in West Bromwich, when I used to visit him, um, I'd be so happy to see him, spend time with him, and then when I get the train back into Manchester, I've had people this before, and they say they have the same feeling, but the sense of like love. I kind of get homesick, and that you get a weird feeling in your chest and emotions running wild that you're in your hometown. And I love like the culture. I love the history behind it. Um, the people, the great. I love the accent. I'd say Manchester accent's the best accent in the UK. So um, yeah, if you're planning with, if there's any people abroad that want to travel to the UK, check Manchester out because there is a lot of great places to visit. The food's great in the restaurants, many historical places, and that, like the Manchester Cathedral. You get a great feeling when you're in there. Just the people, the community are great. So, yeah, that's what I can say about Manchester. I love it. I love my city.
wonderful, beautiful. What about and of course, what about football? What are you, Manchester United or City fan?
Well, I don't follow football anymore. I'd say, see, when I, before my sight loss, I used to play football video games,
Hmm.
and I'd watch football on TV. But then when I lost my sight, I just like I stepped back away from football, and I just kind of focused on myself. I didn't want to follow any sports or anything, so I'd watch a bit of boxing, like we have boxers Amir Khan, because he's retired now, and Tyson Fury. So I follow boxing now again. The England versus Spain match that was on the Euros. I did watch snippets of it, and like I said, I don't follow football, but I felt the need to watch watch parts of the match. I didn't have faith that England was going to win. So when it comes to like Manchester City and Manchester United, I'm not really a follower of. Really, I think Manchester's Manchester. It should be just one football team, really, rather than Manchester City and Manchester United. But that's just my thoughts on that sport anyway.
Right, right. Well, that's beautiful. Yeah, no, I'm aware of that because years ago I played the FIFA game as well. I have usable vision, and of course I'm familiar with both teams there. I think it's also too in the States, you would find here on my side of the pond that a lot of the major cities have two sports teams for each of the cities. That's very common, actually.
Yeah,
That's a historical sports thing. You want to have some rivalry, some competition within the city too. So that's really interesting. Well, look, mate, I'm sorry to hear about everything you've overcome, losing your family members to alcoholism and all I mean, all that stuff is bizarre. I mean, being homeless and having to go through all that, that's all bizarre and a tremendous challenge. But what it all comes down to is that this is the spiritual journey that we all have to go through in our life, right? So,
yeah,
that's just, what a lot of times, Kyle, what I'll tell you, and the more you get to know me and after the show today, we have actually two audience members who are muted and they'll ask you questions too at the end. But when you get to know us here at the Aaron's Opinion family, you'll find that you are certainly not alone in overcoming challenges, and that there are other people who've also shared a lot of your same, similar experiences. So we've all had these types of things happen. This is all,
yeah.
overall, I got to say, considering all things considered, it sounds like you're doing great. The other thing that I want to dig into too, there's a very special reason why, and I'm surprised you didn't mention it sooner. So you're also a composer. You've also composed some music, right? Talk more
Yeah,
about that because there's a follow-up comment that I want to make about music. But tell me about your music, man.
yeah, sure. So I have made a song before where I'm rapping about losing my mum, dad, brother, and my uncle Eddie. There was I loved them so much. My uncle Eddie, he was like a gentle giant, which I mentioned in the song, and it was at my uncle Eddie's where I started having a taste of playing video games, and it kind of made me into who I am now, being around them people, and you know, like so I made a song about like losing loved ones, and this the album what I've released, it's called Parabellum, like prepare for war, and it's like it's a mental war. Like we got this battle going on in your head, and I was really struggling. Um, contact was limited with my son. I was having loads of other personal stuff, and I just find writing music, composing on Logic Pro X on my Mac. I thought that was the place where I could just really express myself, and I'd write these songs, and it's like my whole energy goes into it from each instrument, how it's produced, and it's like my mental state is this music. Each song, it's like telling a story really. So I say it's to do with mental health and coping with grief and other other forms of mental health. Depression, anxiety, social anxiety. I was like I was really quiet. I was in my shell. Ever since I got with my current partner now, I'm open, I'm well spoken, and I will be working on more music. I'm getting my music. I haven't wrote music for like 5 or 6 years now, so will be getting into it and releasing more music in the near future. So the album that I've released is called Parabellum by Blind Havok, and it's just instrumental. Um, there's no lyrics or anything. So if you ever listen to it, you can probably um, kind of think like what I've said so far about them, and it allows you can kind of picture where I was at the time by listening to each song.
Right. Beautiful. Well, the reason I ask is I have compiled. Did you upload your album to Spotify? Do you have a Spotify page?
Yeah, it's all on streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music, Amazon, Deezer.
Beautiful. There's a specific reason why I mentioned Spotify. I have had the privilege of interviewing many blind musicians from all over the world over the past few years. And what I do, anytime I find a blind musician who says they have an album on Spotify, I've actually created a playlist on Spotify where I include only blind musicians. So I
Oh,
would like you to certainly send me that playlist and I will definitely add your music in. Then I'll send you the playlist and then you can listen to all the other musicians from around the world who are also blind and then they'll hear you. So it's really incredible. So definitely join my playlist. If you give me your Spotify, I'll definitely give you a follow and make sure that all of your tracks are added into the Aaron's Opinion Select is what it's called, where I select blind musicians' music and I've created a playlist, a couple of hours of tracks already. So definitely get your songs to me and I'll definitely put you on my playlist. That's
that's,
so
that's,
incredible.
yeah, it sounds good what you're doing there. I'd also like to mention now that we're on the topic, the Blind in Music Facebook group, which I'm really proud of it, that there's so many blind musicians and talented as well. There are musicians there that are collabing with each other. So maybe, Aaron, you could reach out to them as well also. And I think music it's just an amazing way how to express yourself and
Absolutely.
how you're feeling. And, I'd like to say it was Stevie Wonder. There was an advert on TV back in 2005, a year after I was diagnosed, and it was a Motown commercial, and it was showing the Motown artists. And then I saw Stevie Wonder with a big smile on his face, rocking side to side on the piano, and I was just like, how can a blind man? At that time, I was like, how can a blind person smile? How can you be happy? And then it was that moment that like made me like it kind of shook me up into reality and said, it's not all bad really. So with the Wonder Ray Charles expressing themselves, and there's many other musicians, producers, engineers. So I love music, and what you're doing, Aaron, with the playlist, it is a great idea, and I will send you over my the Spotify link for my album. Thank you.
Of course. How did you now what platform, what hosting platform did you use to actually publish the tracks? Because there are several people in here at Aaron's Opinion family here who are also musicians like you, who you will love to interact with. I have several musicians who you are just going to be fascinated by. So what software do you use to actually publish your tracks? Because this is a common thing that blind people are asking me. How do you actually do that?
To release my album,
Correct.
I use DistroKid, so it's
Okay.
DISTRO DistroKid KID. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
so what I can suggest really is this is what I did is I signed up for DistroKid, but I didn't subscribe to anything, and then I waited for a few days, and DistroKid emailed saying subscribe now, and then you get a discount off your subscription for the whole year. So yeah, I did save a lot of money. So sign up for DistroKid, but don't subscribe to any plan. So you can have one artist, 1 to 2 artists, or you can have over, I think it's over 50 artists. But yeah, don't subscribe. Wait for a few days till you get that email. Then use that discount code where you will save some money.
Oh man, cool. All right. Well, that's going to be really good. And back to this whole concept of your YouTube channel. So you have built quite a following, well over 1K, which is a
Yeah.
tremendous accomplishment, mate. I mean, so when did you start the channel? What steps did you take, and exactly what do you cover on your channel? It seems like you're really into this IT and these AI things. So really, really delve into that.
So, Chief, when I first got a computer, I got a PC off my brother. I think it was like 30 quid that I gave him or something. So I had my PC and I had my Zoom text magnifier, and I was like, I'd never had a PC before, so I got onto YouTube right away, and I was like, right, let's create a channel. I did my first two videos was like these little animated things, which I don't know what software it was, just like messing about. And then I started finding ways how to upload my video game footage. So I was doing video game walkthroughs and playthroughs showing how like a visually impaired person plays video games still, and if there's any, also highlighting accessibility features on. I play the Xbox Series X, so I've talked about how accessible and which accessible games there are for the visually impaired. So also anything to do with AI. So I do use AI a lot, and I take advantage of it and show the benefits of AI, which helps me, compile the lyrics, like I said before, with Do No AI. It helps me edit my books that I'm writing on. So it would just make it a little slightly readable, more readable, and edit it if I've made any errors and grammar mistakes or anything. And I do have a device which I've been recently doing videos for, the Rabbit R1, and it's a little AI large action model device which you can ask any questions you want. It's supposed to replace the smartphones, but right now I can't see it doing that. And I've been highlighting how it's not accessible for blind people. Like the settings, if there's no screen reader, you can't even zoom in on the screen. And so I'm just saying to the Rabbit developers, I can't use this to the full potential, make it accessible. So they did get back to me the other day and said that they are taking this into consideration. They will put on a screen reader, which if they do that, then I've achieved something there, and then hopefully more blind and visually impaired people can get hold of this Rabbit and make use of it. And AI, I see it has helped a lot of blind people, assistive technology, OCR, cameras to read documents, scan documents, current, read the colour of things, like the app Seeing AI. Oh, there's so many apps out there. I've compiled a list. So um, also 11 Labs, which um, it generates natural sounding voices, and I did make a video. There's an app called 11 Labs Reader. So if you've brought out a book, or you want to mess with like ChatGPT, which I also recommend to get, because that's the app I use to edit my books and compile the lyrics. So you can write your book in ChatGPT, copy it, paste it into 11 Labs Reader, and you can get any voice. And I've been using Judy Garland to read out these books, and it just sounds, it sounds like something like an audible or something, and it just sounds. I played a book the other day with my partner and my father-in-law, and we had this on. Judy Garland was reading this book out, and all three of us almost fell asleep because it was so soothing, and that's so, it sounds so natural. So I just love AI. I use it to also generate images and my thumbnails for my videos on YouTube. Also the art cover for my book that I'm releasing. So yeah, take advantage of AI because it does have its benefits, and it's fun, and at times, you can get a little bored and you're looking and you're like, I don't want to play these games and, might dabble about with this app. So have fun with it. Don't be scared. Obviously, there are scary things about AI that, you just don't want to think about. But these creative AI tools, make the most out of it and you'll have fun. And if you got some ideas in your head about writing a book, then get it down in ChatGPT. If you're not very um, if you're not good at writing, like expressing yourself or how to write the book, you know, just ask ChatGPT, here's my idea, make a story out of this, and then that idea is that's your book. It's come from your head, so you explain that.
Yeah. Yeah, and what can you tell me that Rabbit R1 device you got there? So, what's the history behind that? For one thing, did you ask the company why they called their device a rabbit? Like, what's that? Like, what's that about?
Yeah, I haven't. Do you know what? I haven't really asked about the name. Obviously, I think it's like a gimmick. Like, oh, this is rabbit, and everyone's like, what's this rabbit? It's like, your curiosity is like, what is this rabbit? So on the screen there is a little like rabbit head, and when you press in the side button, the ears lift up to show that it's listening. But if you're blind, you're not going to know if the ears are lifting up, and I can just about see the ears lifting up. Um, but I'm not sure why they've called it a rabbit, but the R1, I think that's the R1 chip, which makes it answer your questions in and there's a lot of techie stuff to do with it, but it's just that I should have brought it upstairs with me really, but it's a small little square orange device with a side button and a wheel to navigate through settings. You can also play your Spotify on it, and you can order your Uber, or in the UK we don't have DoorDash. I'm not sure what parts of America they have DoorDash, but that's like a food delivery service. And they are putting also Suno AIs on it, and you can ask like the rabbit generate a song in a jazz style about like blind awareness or something, and it'll create the song for you and play it on the Rabbit R1. But they are bringing out more services that you can pair with it, and I do see the potential in it. Like if I didn't, I wouldn't have bought it for. I think it was £170. I pre-ordered it in February and I received it in June. So I'm still learning a lot about it. And they've released a new feature called Beta Rabbit, where you just say Beta Rabbit, and it gives you more in-depth answers, and it can do a lot more. But really, I don't see why that wasn't implemented in the first place. As make it a powerful device, shouldn't have to activate a rabbit. But I've uploaded a few videos so far, talking about the rabbit and the design and the features, and I will be working on some more. But as you say about the name, it is kind of catchy. It's not a name that you can forget, and the colour is also the orange that I haven't really seen before. You won't think of having that orange on a device, but it does look like a nice smart device that if you into your gadgets and your tech, then it's one of those things that you'd love to own, and it comes in like a little case as well, a little plastic 24-inch case, which is like a cassette case, but smaller, like a square shape. But I like the device, and stay tuned from the channel where I will be making more videos on it and talking about accessibility features that would be good with it. As it's haptic feedback, it doesn't have haptic feedback to let you know if it's charging. It would be good if it has haptic to let you know if it's listening. Other small features which they've missed out, and it is disappointing because we're in 2024. If you're making a device that has stuff like this, put accessibility first. If you want to reach a large audience, that should come first. Let's make this um, accessible to everyone. Um, People with sight loss, hearing loss, cognitive, other disabilities. Then yeah, so I'll be making more videos. And if anyone that's watching um, decides to purchase the Rabbit R1, then please do videos on it. Because the more people that are doing videos, we can make this accessible. And I think it's important really, because the Rabbit R1 now it's kind of a big thing. Everyone's making videos about it, and I think I'm the only visually impaired person to have one, because I haven't seen any other person with sight loss doing any videos. And yeah, let's get this accessible, people.
Yeah, absolutely. It sounds like it's very similar to, let's say, it kind of reminds me of like an A device or like a home pod, or that's kind of what it reminds me of, right?
Yeah,
Similar to that, right?
yeah, that's what it's been like referred to, similar to that. But yeah, they're saying that this is supposed to be better, and they're calling it the like the smartphone killer. But you can put a SIM card in it, so you've got data, you can connect to Wi-Fi and that. But as of now, with what's on my phone, I know I've got all the apps on my phone. Um, after I've got GPS on anything that I need help assistance with. I've got my tools on my phone. I've got my built-in magnifier, which I use to read letters, or I can scan my letters with like apps like Seeing AI. But when it comes to the Rabbit, I'm thinking for my everyday like living, like what I asked the Rabbit, I could also ask my smartphone. So until it brings out a game-changing thing, make it more accessible, make it a game changer, then yeah, then I'd be using that more often rather than my smartphone, really. And I think, looking forward to where technology is going, like so far.
Right, absolutely. That's really fascinating. So, what are some other technology you've debuted and kind of showed and demonstrated on Blind Havoc?
Um, well, as I've spoke about my Xbox, um,
Oh yeah.
that's I have played PlayStation, which that's also accessible, and I do have a Nintendo Switch. Um, just has some accessibility features. It doesn't have a screen reader. You can zoom in and out, but not as good as the Xbox. There are a lot of video games as well, and I actually saw a video which I shared about Microsoft Copilot, and it's
Hmm.
really interesting because there was someone. Have you heard of a video game called Minecraft?
Absolutely. My brother, I never played it, but my brother loved it when he was 12. And there's also, I mean, a lot of adults still play Minecraft just for the
Yeah,
kind of peaceful creativity. Like a lot of people like it just to be kind of relaxing and creative. There's
yeah,
also, Kyle, another game. I forget what it's called, but it's like Minecraft for like an older audience. And what it is you have to like build a city, but you have to like kind of use AI and like set up your city and set up your electrical grid. It's like Minecraft, but much more demanding, and then things happen. So that this is actually a major thing. Why don't you talk more about your interest in Minecraft? Absolutely.
yeah. So Minecraft was, I think it was the first video game footage what I was uploading really, but back then it didn't really have much accessibility features. You could make the text large. It's visually like appealing as well. It looks fun and it's like relaxing, and the audio as well. So you've got the sheep, the cows, the mobs, like the zombies and that, so you can hear which direction they're coming from as well. The audio design is good. But I haven't played it recently, but there are other screen readers on there. You can read out the inventory and stuff, and there's if like a cow makes a sound, it will say like move in big writing on the screen to tell you that there's a cow in that direction. But this video that I saw as well, Microsoft Copilot. So someone was playing Minecraft on their PC, and they had Microsoft Copilot, which it 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 shares your screen, and it's an AI assistant, so you can ask this AI assistant what am I highlighting in my inventory, or what item am I holding, and it'll tell you what's in your inventory. It will speak just like a normal person, and if you ask for advice, and it'll tell you like, oh, there's a zombie coming your way, maybe hide in this area, use these materials to craft a house, and it speaks openly like it's like if you sat beside a friend and you got a sighted friend like being assisting you. So I thought that was really like powerful, and I'm excited. I hope that comes to Xbox as it is on PC. I don't think it's fully released yet, as I don't like play games on PC. But to have that as a guide to assist you, not just on Minecraft, but if there's other games out there that aren't really accessible, and you've got this shared screen with AI, like describing your environment and navigating you through this open world or whatever to make your gaming experience better. Yeah, I am excited for it really. So that's like the Xbox and gaming and my experience on Nintendo and PlayStation. Um, I am looking also to get a Steam Deck, which is a handheld device from like Valve, and you've got your Steam PC games on there. So you can also hook that up to your TV if you want a larger screen, which I will be doing. It is a bit pricey, but I'll wait till it's on sale. But got a more more range of games really that like I'm interested in as well. So we will be getting a Steam Deck soon. And I have tried assistive headwear as well, like what's the name? Iris Vision. I tried that one, which I thought was more I found it more useful. I could zoom in, and I zoomed in around my living room, and I could see a lot better. It was a lot clearer, but it is still not like non-affordable for me. And then recently you've had the Apple Vision Pro, which I've just released in the UK, and I am looking to get hold of the Apple Vision Pro. I am an Apple user. I've got an iPhone and iMac. Did have an iPad, but the Apple Vision Pro, I would like to just make the most of it, see what features it is. I would like to step into the like VR world. I've tried Oculus Quest, which I could see slightly, but I struggled. But I've seen other visually impaired by the Apple Vision Pro, and they love it. So Sam from the Blind Life, that's the video was it, and James Rath, I think. I'm
Yes.
sure. So them two YouTubers that I follow them a lot, and I'm interested to see what tech are they talking about next, and to have an Apple to be able to like zoom it in, because sometimes I use the phone if I'm sat with my father-in-law and we watch TV. I'm sat far away from the TV, so if I use my camera on my phone and zoom into this TV, I've got it right up to my eyes, and I can make out what's happening on the TV. So I'm like more hopeful for this Apple Vision Pro to be able to just sat there with it zoomed in and watch like TV with everyone else, feel more involved really. So, there are other options like audio description as well, which I've used before, but with what sight I've got and can make out what's happening if I'm sat close up to the TV. And yeah, I've always got my eyes on the latest tech coming to gadgets and that, so nothing's really grabbed my attention as much. So I'll be staying tuned, looking around, see what game changes are out there and what can make my life any easier to live with day by day. So yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you are so right. You are so right. Have you ever interviewed James Rath, by the way? Because he's great. I've always wanted to connect with him.
I haven't. I've reached out to him in the comments if he could do a video about the Xbox, and he did end up doing a video about the Xbox and that. He's done other consoles as well, so I'm glad he got back to me in the comments. But um, I was actually thinking that before this interview. I think you're well spoken, and as soon as you reached out to me, Aaron, I was like, it's like a breath of fresh air. Do you know, someone that I can get on your level with, and
Well, thank you.
I think it'll be great. Do you know, to see an interview with you and James Rath, Sam from the Blind.
Well, I've
Um,
I've agreed with that statement for years. I've also reached
yeah,
I too have reached out to the guy, but he
so,
gets a lot of requests. So it's nothing personal about either one of us. He gets a lot of requests. He's very, very great at what he
yeah,
does in the community. He's very well known. So yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Even
he
one, if I can pronounce it, one Alcazar, JC5 Productions. He's a filmmaker. He's diagnosed with retinitis pigmentosa, is RP, yeah. So he does like short films and that, and he speaks about the tech that he uses to do his video editing, his audio recording and stuff like that. So he'd be another guy that you could um, do an interview with. So then three people, I'd love to interview with
yeah,
that. But,
that would be fascinating. What's this guy's name? So we mentioned James Rath, and then you mentioned some JC5 Productions.
yeah, his name is Juan, so Juan. Alcaz, I think it's sorry if I'm pronouncing the name. I've got him on my Facebook. Alcaz,
I know who you're talking about now. You mean Juan Alcazar?
that's the one. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We've talked before. Yeah, he's great. He's great.
He's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
good guy.
yeah, yeah. And who
Then
else?
them three. What Sam from the Blind Life? Have you ever seen his videos?
Oh, yes, yes, yes,
He,
yes. Of course. Hmm.
also, what I'd love to see as well. Sorry, Tommy Edison.
The Tommy Edison experience. Absolutely.
That it's like also his attitude. And, and he was born blind, and his attitude towards his blind life is just amazing.
Hmm.
It makes me laugh, and I think I'd love to see that because the way you approach these interviews and how you compose it and that, I think it's well done. And them four people, I'd love to see an interview with. So,
That would be incredible. We'll see what we can do. We'll see, but you could reach out to Tommy Edison and just ask him,
uh,
hey, there's this guy named Aaron's Opinion, and he would love to talk to you.
uh,
I would definitely love that. Yeah, but I will certainly reach out to them and let you know because I understand. Yeah, they're in England though, where you are. Who's like the lead blind YouTuber like in England who you know of?
I'd say Lucy Edwards.
Yeah, I've heard of her. Yeah, I know who you're talking about. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, done videos about a guide dog and stuff like that, and she's been on TV, she's been on commercials, hair to do with hair products and that. So, um, yeah, I'm sure she got back to one of my emails because I did a list of blind YouTubers, and I compiled a lot of lists, and I was asking people for their description, and most people didn't have a description. So I was like, can you give me like a little description how I can um, describe your YouTube channel? And I had the channel, the social media links and stuff like that, and I'm sure she got back to me when I messaged her. So maybe Lucy Edwards would be a good finger, but.
That would be that would be spectacular to get to interview her. That would be a record for sure. Yeah, that would be
Oh,
amazing.
um, there's a couple more people actually. There's Dave Steele. He's the blind poet,
Blind
and
Poet, yes, he posts. Yeah, we're very familiar with him here in the States. He posts a lot around the community. He's very active in the groups. Absolutely, yes.
and my fellow admin and a good friend. He used to visit me from Devon, in the south of the UK, and he's called David. So he's also an admin on the blind awareness, and he's really techie as well and into his gadgets, and he knows.
Mm-hmm.
Also, maybe David could be a good person to interview as well. So yeah, I can think of more people overseas really that are doing more YouTubing than British. I can't really think a lot of British people really, rather than Lucy and Dave Steele. Well, I don't think he still does any YouTubing. He does a lot of poetry, and sure he does have some the odd videos and that. But yeah, they're who I can really think of most.
Yeah. Yeah. You said you've also published a book or two, right? Why don't you go into a little bit more detail about your books?
Yeah. So my book Between Me, You and the Console, and the subtitles Pixels of Perseverance. That's like talks about my young age with my uncle Eddie and my family was close, playing video games, family time, then experimenting on other consoles, and um, then I talk about my sight loss and how I thought my world was over, and then I still continue to play video games like Splinter Cell, Metal Gear Solid, and um, Crackdown, which I, I love the like Crackdown. I used to jump out. It's the open world, and you're like a super agent, and you're jumping around building to building, and you can hear these nice sounding orbs, and it's just or the auditory feeling. It just sounds nice, and then you're collecting all these orbs and stuff like that. So with my sight loss, I didn't let it like defeat me. So I speak about that and how we went from these old glass TVs with a glass screen and the all pixelated to the HD TVs and then 4K, and how it's just become more playable, the games, and I've revisited the games that I used to play, like Splinter Cell, which I struggled with, and Metal Gear Solid, and I used to ask my brother for assistance, can you do this part of the game for me? But now I've I've managed to do these parts myself and complete them over and over again. Get all the achievements and stuff. So I haven't asked I needed to ask anyone for assistance. I can like zoom in onto the screen, I can read my objectives, I can read the settings. It's just all accessible, and the visuals as well. I can make things out. There are some games that um, aren't really good. So, the contrast could be too bright. You can't it really adjust the settings to like help me out. So yeah, just to speak about also lose like how I could use video games and music to cope with my grief as well. So speak about my mum, dad, and my brother losing them and losing my uncle Eddie as well. Um, So yeah, it's a short book. It's a short book, but it's a good read if you want to know a bit more about me and like my journey through video games and how I cope with grief. Then I say it's a good read. So it is available on ebook, on Kindle, and as a paperback as well. So that's Between Me, You, and the Console. And the other book, which I can't say the name of yet or too much into it because I've not fully finished it, but it is kind of like a shout out to Manchester in the 90s. It has a focus on um, one character in particular. Um, is an oddball character, but you see his perspective growing up in Manchester, and you know what? The more I think about it, it's kind of like me growing up in Manchester. And when I had this, what people call a disability, which I wouldn't say it's a disability, I find ways around it, and I'm able to get around it. So, like growing up in Manchester, and then we go to a place called the Job Centre, where if you're on benefits, state benefits, so you're claiming these benefits, and then you did want to work at one time. Like I've been a sound engineer for, I wouldn't say it was permanent. I did do a bit of sound engineer work, got a little bit of money from that, but then I did my voluntary work, and this character in this book, he's took on many roles, but I've took on, and he's seen friends turn the back on him. He's kind of in this house. He feels all alone, and he doesn't feel accepted. But he's got this idea to be a video game developer as well, which was also my dream. And yeah, a lot of my traits and my aspirations are in this character. So I say it really is. I say it's me growing up in Manchester and trying to find my footing, like my feet and my purpose in life and stuff. So that's that book and my other book, which can't go too much into, copyright and all that. I'm like excited for this, and I really see the potential in both the books, and it is a children's book, but it will appeal for the older audience as well. But with this book, as the one that I'm writing now is a children's book, like say for the teens, early teens, maybe a bit younger, but I will be doing one for the really young audience, and then I'm gonna do a more mature book, and one of the characters in it is Blind Havok, and that's myself, and it's basically like a twist on me, like taking life like by the horns, and then not letting anything stop me or get in my way. There's obstacles, I'll find a way over it or around it or straight through it. And this character does all that, stops prejudice, and yeah, I can't go too much into it, but I'm excited for these books to be released, which hopefully will be this year, because I'm currently working on my father-in-law's book as well, which I can't say too much about that, but that should be released next week. So we're excited for that, and my father-in-law is in his 70s now, but this book idea is what he used to tell his children over 30 years ago, and his late wife Tina, she passed away in November. So this book is a big thing, and she suggested that he'd write this book, and I'm helping my father-in-law with this book, and it will be released, and I know it will do good because we need this book. Children need this book, and there's not a lot of children, there's not a lot of readers really that I've heard of, but I do love to pick up a book and like read if I can and stuff like that, if I've got the time, and I'd definitely give these books a read, so stay tuned, people.
Absolutely. Well, that's fabulous. You can certainly give me all of the info to all of your books in your description once you write that up later today. I do want to say we're coming to the end of a beautiful episode, but there's two more things we need to do. Number one, I have a question for you, and then we'll go to the audience because I know they have questions. My question to you, if you can ask me only one more question to really make me sweat, to see if I'm worth my salt as a podcaster, what do you
Yeah,
really want to know about me? Your one question.
one question. If there was, I don't know if you've interviewed people with sight loss, but if there was one celebrity or any idol who you could interview, like why who would you interview and why?
There are many high-profile podcasters who I would love to sit down, behind the microphone with and have a conversation with. There are many of them that do incredible work in the podcast space. So I would say a variety of high-profile podcasters would be who I would interview. I would also interview the other blind people that we mentioned today. So those would be the types of people that I would mostly interview. I mean, really anyone, but mostly other successful blind people who have an incredible following or an incredible story or just an incredible perspective on life. Those tend to be the interviews that I tend to be drawn to, and those are the people that tend to be drawn to me for as an interviewer. So
Okay, well, I'll be looking forward. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Anyway, it would be nice. It would be nice.
Yeah, no, we will talk extensively after this interview. We will speak extensively over WhatsApp. I do confess that I find Messenger to be a little cumbersome, but we'll definitely catch up on WhatsApp, and I'll give you some other. I trust me, I have like 10 other ideas for you. Like
Oh,
there's like 20 other things that I want to tell you that you've just done such a great job. But we do need to, keep
yeah.
things going, and then we'll catch up. We'll catch up with you later today. I'll catch up one with you over the WhatsApp. All right. Let's go over to the South Africa office of Aaron's opinion. Let's head down to Pretoria. Uh, let's see. Okay. His name is Latabo. He joins us from Pretoria. Go.
Well, let me say good afternoon and good morning to you, Aaron, and good morning to Kristen as well.
Uh,
Okay, just to ask a question to the guest over in the UK, because I heard you were talking about AI. So I have a phone here, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it, but it's just next to me, so it's the Vivo phone. But I don't know if you've heard a phone that has AI before, but let me just ask on that. Like, have you ever heard of a phone that has AI like in the let me say in the 2000s before or in the 2010s? Let me just put it that way.
do I've heard of a phone that has AI.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah. Well, that's what. Like if you think of Samsung recently, they used Samsung AI. They was like making it a big thing, and that's what they did to get their phones out there. There was like Samsung AI, and if you take a picture
Mm-hmm.
of the and circle an item in the picture on it, where you can buy this, or Apple also they're using what's it called? It's Apple AI or intelligent Apple Intelligent. That's what the Apple Intelligence, and they're making
Mm-hmm.
their own more AI and like there'll be more features coming soon. So I'm an iPhone user, and that
Oh,
you do
okay.
get a lot of apps with it that have AI built into it.
Thank you.
Well,
Perfect, Latabo.
interesting.
Yeah, it's very interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I need to ask you just a follow-up question on that,
Sure, sure.
this is what I said. So, okay, so obviously I heard Kyle speaking about, what do you call this, device again? I think it's a Rabbit, device that I've
Yeah.
heard of. So, like, if I would ask you, like, what feature do you love the most on that, device?
What's that? What feature do I like the most on the Rabbit?
Yes.
Um, I like how at times it has a quicker response than Siri and what's the one on Samsung? Is it Bixby or something? I did do a Rabbit versus Alexa, but Alexa was
Mm-hmm.
giving me faster response times, and
Mm-hmm.
sometimes the Rabbit can hear your response, but when you ask like Beta Rabbit, you do get more in-depth responses, and um, when they do bring out like a screen reader, hopefully, which they should do because it's run by Android, so you'd probably get like
Mm-hmm.
talkback, and
Oh.
it might like you out somewhere, and then you can just order an Uber just with this Rabbit, and then you got like your Uber taxi, or if you don't want to take your phone out, and you can just play some music for Spotify or Apple Music. So
Mm-hmm.
it is good, like even if just small little tasks, like I think it like can summarize. So if you've got like a letter through the post, or if you've got some written work, and you can take it's got also got a rabbit eye, so you can double
Mm-hmm.
tap the side button to open up the camera, open up the eye on the rabbit, and then you hold the side button and talk into it and say, summarize this document, and then it will give you a quick summary of what this document's about or how to solve this like math equation or something like that. So it does have small little nice features like that, really.
Wow, that's interesting.
It is.
Well,
So
that was my question.
on.
All right. All
New
right,
book.
Latava. Well, thank you. All right, Preston, go. Preston.
I think he's muted. I think.
Yeah,
One
I
time.
unmuted him, but hmm.
He didn't see
Let
it.
me try one more time. I know that he had well anyway, he wanted to know, he typed in the chat though, he wanted to know what are your future plans or things that you want to accomplish in the future.
Our future plans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm still focusing on this book right now. The future plans. I would like to collaborate with Ricky Gervais, Carl Pilkington, and Stephen Merchant. I'm not
Yeah.
sure if I would like to work with them on this book. I would like it as a TV show. So that's a big goal, that, and I've always dreamt of that because I admire the guys. I think Ricky Gervais is funny. Carl Pilkington, he has that dry humour.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a TV show. And the other book, what I'm working on, I'd love that to be a children's program as well, and the more mature Blind Havok book that will be. I want that to be like a film, kind of like, I'm not sure if anyone's heard of Sin City or Van Helsing with Hugh Hackman. So I want it like stuff like that. So I have goals like that to get my books on the big screen. Um, Also, I'd like to change up my channel a bit. I do have a lot of playlists like video games, music, family time, and the rabbit little text and stuff like that. But I would like to change up my channel to make it more professional, and I would like to be like a full-time YouTuber one day, and continue with blind awareness. I do think I can take blind awareness to another level. And with that, I could do with a few more admins that have their head screwed on, that know what to do to raise awareness and to make, you know, just to make things easier. So I've got them goals for the future. If I take a load of stuff on, I'll be juggling a lot of stuff as well as my personal life as well. So like I said before, I'm still fighting contact for my son, and hopefully one day in the future I get my son living with me in Manchester. That'll be a dream come true. So other than my book writing and my YouTubing, also releasing another album, which I would like. I would like artists to be on it, either a singer or a rapper. So I would like to collaborate someday with other blind artists, musicians. So that's something in the future as well. So yeah, thanks for that as well, Preston.
Yeah, absolutely. Kyle, I just wanted to take this time and thank you from the bottom of our heart to yours for joining us today over there in England across the pond. You did a stunning job, and we couldn't have done it without you. That was you have an amazing story, and you tell it in a very kind and entertaining and interesting way. And you're just doing all the right stuff in life. So I wish you all future success. And now that you're here in Aaron's Opinion, we'll be able to help you grow even further. So thank you so much for joining us on this episode of Aaron's Opinion. Again, we'll catch up later on WhatsApp. But until then, I just wanted to say, that was truly an excellent, excellent job. And I just wanted to say thank you. And we will certainly be back soon. Remember, everybody, click the links in the description for more information about Kyle Tyler Noremberg. All right, everybody, take care.
Thanks,
And
audience.
yeah, you're so welcome. All right, everybody, we'll catch up later. And as we say here at Aaron's Opinion, help one person today, help 1 million people tomorrow.